Hi, my name is CJ. I'm a singer-songwriter from Hamilton, Ontario, and I'm currently the frontwoman of a band called CJ Sleez. Personal influences growing up, my main one was She-Ra, Princess of Power, the cartoon. I think she was actually He-Man's sister, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
um, but I had the entire collection of all her toys and everything and was obsessed with the cartoon. And I think what I liked most about her was how she empowered young girls. She was so beautiful and dressed so provocatively, but was so strong and in control of everything all the time. And it was her show. She ran it. It was fabulous. So I grew up with that ingrained in me, and I really appreciated that because as I got into performing, I met a lot of people who didn't understand that a woman dressing provocatively can actually be a really empowering thing, and they thought it was along the lines of submission and men dominating them, and that we're doing it to please men, and that's not it at all. We're doing it to please ourselves. It looks fantastic, we feel fantastic, and that's what it's all about. And I credit a lot of that to She-Ra. Musical influences, as far as female musical influences, if we want to focus on that to keep on topic, I have a wide range. I appreciate a lot of different kinds of music, but mostly rock and roll and anything that's basically blues based. I love Janis Joplin. I love Grace Slick. I love modern stuff. I'm going to see L7 in a couple months. They're playing the Opera House, and it's going to be amazing. They were huge influences on me as a young teenager because their songs were playable, which was huge at the time. I mean, if you're teaching yourself an instrument and you can find a band that you really like, that you can learn to play fairly simply, that's a breakthrough moment. I like Joan Jett. I like Wendy O. Williams. Let's see, Sinead O'Connor was a big one for me. Even Madonna in the 80s. Growing up, when I remember having a Blonde Ambition tour poster on my wall when I was like 8 years old. Let's see. I love Courtney Love as far as current females. That's a little tougher. There's a lot of them. There's a girl from Montreal in a band called The Damn Truth who just blows my mind. She's amazing. And I'm waiting to find more. To me, the most appealing thing about punk music and punk as a whole is the attitude. I love I'm an outsider and I don't care attitude. I love I'm going to make something from nothing because I'm frustrated and I have nothing else to do. To me, punk is unpretentious. It's about finding instruments and getting your best friends and learning to play three chords and getting up and performing them for people and not caring. It's more about self-expression than it is about getting the specifics right. And I personally love that. I'm a big picture person. I don't mess around too much about finicky little details because I don't think in the end they really matter. That's not the parts that people remember. So to me, when I say to somebody that's punk rock, that's what I mean. I mean, it's that attitude of I don't give a fuck and let's just do it and everything's okay. You know what I mean? We're not going to be judging other people on how well they're doing or how good of musicians they are. Just the fact that they have the balls to get up and do it. That is what I appreciate. And to me, that's what's punk and what brought me into it and what I still carry through to this day. The first band that I was ever in was called Clitoris Gitch, and it was me and my best friend Alexis, who was on drums, and that's it. I played guitar very, very badly, and we wrote horrible songs, but we had a blast doing it, and it was hilarious. And I'm still friends with her to this day, which is great. And at least it got me started. You know, it got me over that initial nervousness of forming a band and picking up an instrument and playing with somebody else because it was just so comfortable at the time. And we were really heavily influenced by bands like Bikini Kill and L7, you know, 90s sort of ride girl type stuff, just to give you an idea of what we sounded like, but way more bare bones and much poorer quality of music and writing. But, you know, it was what it was at the time. After that, I joined a group called the High School Hookers from Hamilton with a really good friend of mine, Ian James, and his wife now, Sue Phipps, and I sang backups for them. I didn't play a musical instrument. It was a lot of backup dancing and singing, and of course it was amazing. We had a blast with that, and the next thing I did was my own project, and that was CJ Sleez and the STDs originally. In Hamilton, I played with a few people here. I was lucky enough to have some really great band members to help me get going. And then I moved to Toronto, and it just became CJ Sleez. And in 1999, I moved to Toronto, and that's what I've been doing ever since, just CJ Sleez, and taking the lead as a singer-songwriter myself. And again, I'm very, very blessed to be able to play with a lot of talented musicians. I would have loved the opportunity to have opened for the Gits with Mia Zapata when she was still alive. She was such an amazing talent and met such a tragic and unfortunate end. And opening for them at that time, I think, would have been amazing in itself, just because of the scene that was forming. This was the early 90s in Seattle. Everything was just on the cusp of exploding, and I think the energy would have been fantastic, and really a time like no other in history. There's a lot of other bands throughout history I would also like to open for, but I think she's notable because of her talent and also because of what an unfortunate end she met. It was a really horrible thing to happen, and she needs to be remembered and given a lot of respect. What I love most about being a musician is the freedom of self-expression and the release of it all. I think if I didn't have music as an outlet, I would probably be locked in an insane asylum by now. I have severe bipolar 1, so it's really important for me to have some kind of outlet to express my extreme range of emotions and everything else, and that's a really productive and positive way to do it. And I think it gives the music a lot of power because it's real and it's gutting a lot of the time, you know. And I also love the camaraderie of it. If you ever listen to, say, you put on your favorite song and you can lose yourself in it, and you just crank in and close your eyes, and it makes you feel however it makes you feel, whether it's I feel super energetic or I feel euphoric or it makes me cry. That intensity of emotion, when you're part of the band playing a song like that and it's your own song, it's just amplified to an almost unimaginable level. Like, there are moments when I'm playing with my different band members over time, and there's a term musicians call it. It's called being in the pocket. And what that basically means is that there's a moment during a song, and it never lasts the whole song. It's fleeting moments. If you're lucky, it'll last more than 5 seconds if you're a really, really well-rehearsed type band. But there are these fleeting moments where everybody's doing the exact right thing at the exact right time, and they've studied it, and it actually changes your brain waves in a way that you connect with everybody in the room. You're using so many different parts of your brain, and You're using your coordination and your memory and your creativity and your imagination, and when all these different lobes are firing at once, at the same time that everyone else's is, and you actually make this spiritual connection. That is what I live for in music. One of the things I live for in music. Another would be connecting with the crowd. Whether or not I'm performing for someone in person and I can physically see in the moment how much they're enjoying it, and making that emotional, personal connection with them, not even knowing them, or it's somebody on the other side of the world who happens to like one of my songs, and I've gotten messages from people saying, I just want to thank you because I was in a really dark place, and I didn't think anyone understood, and I was going to kill myself, and I heard one of your songs about, suicide and being in a dark place, and at least I knew someone else out there understood. That to me is a miracle. That's incredible that I could write something that is going to touch somebody, half a world away, and change their life in any way. It's very difficult to do that in any other medium. I mean, music makes it easy. It's a universal language. Whether they speak English or not, and a lot of it is just in the music itself. So that is magical. What I dislike about being a musician, let's see. I try not to dwell too much on things I dislike because there's always new stuff coming up. So I would say probably the lack of stability and support externally. So just, the way that society views musicians almost as a hobbyist. It's something that, you could do for fun on the side. I don't think a lot of people realize how much work is involved behind the scenes and in the development of it. And of course, it is fun work. I mean, a lot of it is. It's not all, but a lot of it is. And you do it because you're passionate to do it. But at the same time, it's very difficult, especially when you're getting started, to have maintain a healthy, decent lifestyle and invest yourself as much as you'd like to in your music. And that is an unfortunate aspect of it, but I think it's something that everyone has to go through. It's part of paying your dues. It's part of proving to yourself and the world that, yes, I'm invested in this enough, I care about this enough that I will make these sacrifices. So that you almost get a certain respect once you go through that and figure it all out. Just like anything in life, it's hard. But the positives more than make up for it. The best advice I can give to somebody just getting started in the music business is overexpose yourself to everything. Play as many shows as you can. Don't turn anything down. If somebody's willing to put you on their stage, do it. Play with as many other fellow musicians as you can. And I don't just mean in your own project. Do fun things. Do on-the-fly jams. You need to integrate yourself into the scene around you. That's going to help you a lot. It's going to give you supporters and connections and networks that are going to go far, that will last you years. There are people that I've known for 25 years that I form relationships with because of music, back in the day. And it's honestly a connection you never lose. It goes along with what I was saying before about reaching that spiritual intimacy almost, playing music with another person, whether it's an original song or not. It actually connects you on a really important level. So I would say get out there and overexpose yourself to music. Listen to as many bands as you can get your hands on. Listen to as many different genres. You may initially think you don't like country music. Well, listen to a few different things. You may find something that you might like. I mean, I'm not a country music fan, but I can find things that, like, I love Patsy Cline, for example. I can appreciate songwriting like Dolly Parton. Elvis has a little bit of country. There's something in everything, and if you can expose yourself to enough of it to find something to appreciate, I think that's a really important thing that you can carry with you, and will do nothing but expand your influences and your opportunities. Die young. Um, I'm not huge on food in general. I'm not a person that takes photos of my food or has major cravings for things. It's more of an afterthought for me. I've just got personal food issues and it's something I have to remind myself to do. Never been a big one of my addictions is food, thankfully. However, I can appreciate it. When I do eat, I like to eat well. One of the best trips I've ever had was 3 weeks in Paris, and I pretty much lived off wine, fresh bread, and pastries the entire time, and I've never been happier. It was pretty incredible, and I really miss those pastries. I think that in North America, they make an effort, but it's just not the same. So I would say if I had to choose a favorite food, it would be any kind of pastry from Paris. As far as useless talents, I don't really believe in any talent being useless. I think even if it's something silly and embarrassing that you do, like a little party trick or something, as long as it's amusing other people, it's bringing something into the world and it's making people happy. And you're essentially making the world a better place. So I wouldn't in no way consider that useless. I myself don't have any really strange party tricks. As far as a talent I don't often use, I think I'm a really good driver when it comes to driving fast. Unfortunately, I get a lot of speeding tickets. I try not to do it too often, but I do think that if I wasn't into music, I would love to be a race car driver. I just admire them so much, and it does take a lot of skill. But wow, is it ever fun to go really fast. I would like to say I do believe, however, in wasted talents, and that's a really unfortunate thing. That's having a talent and not appreciating it, or really essentially not sharing it with the world. So I encourage you, if there's something that you can do, no matter how silly, how ridiculous, how embarrassing, how odd you think it is, share it with the world. It was given to you for a reason. Appreciate it, because it will translate into other things. It's going to make you a more well-rounded person. It was given to you for a reason. Don't stifle it. It makes you part of you and who you are, and that's what people love. You want to be the most authentic version of yourself. So don't ever downplay or discredit anything. Consider anything inside you useless. Thank you so much for watching, and I just want to say before I go, thank you so much to Steve and Stronger Than Ever videos for coming out and giving me my little soapbox for a couple minutes. It's been really great. I appreciate the coverage, and go Hamilton! Rock and roll!